So let's get right into it. So one of the main things that many producers tend to neglect is the power of independence. Independence is actually a very important thing for every producer, for every artist, for any person in general. If you're doing anything, if you're going anywhere in life, you really have to be dependent on yourself, dependent on your skill set, to make sure that it not only attains you certain positions, but it maintains you in those certain positions. That's why I spend most of my time and most of my money investing into the equipment that is going to help me invest into my career. Because many of y'all make music, many of y'all are great at making music, great at making beats, but you do not have the equipment, so you kind of fall stagnant. You stop producing, you stop thinking, you stop living your dream because you do not have the equipment. But when you do have the opportunity, you choose to spend the money on something else, and that is one thing that's going to determine who's going to last in this game and who's not going to last in this game. What I would highly recommend is, when you are making money, however it is that you're making money, make sure that you invest into things that you can do effortlessly. I don't know why that word is so hard to say today, but make sure that you invest your money into the things that you can do without having to put too much effort into it. Those are the things that come so natural to you. For me, it's producing, it's recording, it's basically creation. Let me just say, like, it's very easy for me to create, so I invest most of my money into the things that help me create. If you have the gifts or if you have the talent to create, but you do not have the tools, you kind of fall stagnant. You're thinking about what you don't have or what you do need to do something else. Like, for many producers, they'll be like, yo, I don't have a keyboard, so I'm not gonna make beats today, because it usually takes me 20 to 30 minutes to figure out melodies, or whatever it is, whatever excuse that be in your head that stops you from doing anything. It's those kind of things that you want to eliminate at the beginning, so that you get into that flow state where you have the things that you need to produce, to do whatever it is that you do, without having to ask anybody for anything. Number one, that is very important for me. Independence is very important. If you're a producer, if you're an artist, if you're anything, you do not want to be dependent on somebody else, because they might be busy with something and you might have this $1 million idea, but you can't execute because you need somebody else's permission to act upon it. So on the topic of equipment, there are many of you guys that wonder, or that want to get into producing, and they don't really know what they want versus what they need to produce, right? So when I started producing, there were so many things that I wanted, and there were only a few things that I needed. The one thing that you need, that you truly need when you're beginning this journey, is determination. And that's something that nobody can give you. That's something that nobody can sell you. You cannot get it anywhere. You have to be determined to want to do this shit. Otherwise, you're gonna follow very quickly. You know, you might have a moment of hype, you might have a glorious moment, but if you don't have determination, bro, those hard times are gonna come and you're just gonna crumble and forget that you ever did this at all. And people are just gonna forget you just as quick. No matter what it is that you do in life, it doesn't have to be producing, it doesn't have to be music. Be determined. Be determined. That is the one determining factor, or that is the one factor that determines who stays, who wins, who loses, and who lost. And you can be all four things if you're determined. Trust me. You know, it's really a mess in here because I'm still setting up. Got the magical suitcase with the where I mainly keep my equipment, minus the keyboard, obviously. So right here, let me give you guys a breakdown of how much and where I got what I have today. So starting off this list, I'm gonna start off with the speakers, right? So you definitely need to have speakers, right? Not just speakers, excuse me. You need to have studio monitors. There are many producers out there still using their mom speakers, that one speaker in the house. They're using their homie speaker, bro. Stop all that. If you can't get you full quality studio monitors, get you something that you can afford, but make sure that you actually get studio monitors. And don't be cheap when you're buying equipment, because understand that every dollar that you spend on your equipment is basically money that you're going to make back one way or the other. So when you're all going hard on your business, on your dreams, put your best foot forward, because it's going to pay you that way. You can only last so long if you're going cheap. And also, if you're being a cheap person, if you buy some cheap equipment, it will probably last you about two to 3 months, or however long it's going to take you, and then it starts breaking down, and then that puts you in a position where you have to now buy something else, where you could be upgrading, but now you have to buy the same thing twice, because You chose to be cheap when you could have just gotten the quality thing. So always buy quality over price. That needs to stick in your head if you're a producer or if you're any kind of business person. Buy quality over price. It doesn't matter how much it costs as long as it has the quality and it gives you the value. You're buying value and you're buying quality. You're not buying price. Price doesn't always determine value. You need to make the decision of what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what you want to accomplish. What might work for me might not work for you. So you have to know what you want, but you'll never get to that point if you're always being cheap. I'm sure there's some speakers or there's some piece of equipment that you're looking at and you're thinking, hey man, if I have this, bro, like I'm gonna be so set. Do what you gotta do to make sure that you attain and acquire that thing. After that, you will need one of these guys. Stop being that producer that just pulls up with the laptop and earphones. In 2026, bro. You're pulling up to the studio. You're telling niggas to pull up to the studio session and you're using earphones. How? So for those of you that do not know what this does, it basically produces sound from not only the speakers but also to the headphones. So you can hear sound simultaneously from the speakers and the headphones through a sound card. Some people call it a sound card. Some people call it an audio interface. Whatever you call it, you need to get you one of these. What this does basically, besides obviously simultaneously producing a sound, it gives extra volume. Your PC, your headphones, or whatever it is that you're using right now, they do not give you full quality. They have a limit to the sound or to the volume that they can go to. But having an audio interface, it gives you more volume. So even when you're playing back, you can hear things that you wouldn't hear if you were just playing at the normal 100% volume value of your PC. It just makes the workflow very easy. If you just started beat production and you have some extra money laying around, definitely get you one of these early if you can. Definitely get you one of these early. I got mine late. I started producing in 2015. I was still in high school back then. And I always dreamt about having one of these. And I only acquired my first one last year. The first time I ever seen one of these in real life was my brother J-Wave. He had, I forgot what he had, but it was so sexy. I think it was an APK Mini something. It was a red one, just super sexy. It was slick. It had tech. It had touch fades. I was just so in love with it. I was so mesmerized, and I told myself that one day I'm gonna get one of these. And I only got to that point of actually buying one of these because I was in positions where I was exposed to such. So the other tip to you guys that is not really equipment based is exposure. You need to be exposed to what other producers have, what other producers use, who other producers produce for, and how they handle their business, because then you're gonna learn something that's going to add to your business, or that's going to add to whatever it is that you have going on. If I was not around people like Jay Wavy, if I wasn't around people like Trill the Kid, I wasn't really around him that much, but I had some time with him, and I had some experience and I had some exposure to certain things that I wasn't really exposed to on my own, in my own circle. So that is very important to network, especially when you're starting out. And then once you kind of have an understanding of who you are, what you want, you can start, distancing yourself, because at the end of the day, who you start with is not who you're going to end with, and how you start is not how you're going to end. You're going to realize, besides people being people, besides life being life, all you need to do is just soak up game until you understand what works for you, and then you fully go into that, right? But you have to be exposed to so much first. Don't limit yourself to what you know. You'll be surprised what's out there, regardless of what you know. And I just realized that I went into deep about the equipment without actually mentioning the most important thing. Bro, you gotta invest into a very good PC. You gotta invest into a very good PC. Do not be cheap, bro. When you're buying equipment, make sure that you have, it doesn't have to be the best, it doesn't have to be the most expensive, it doesn't have to be the latest, but make sure that you invest into a very good PC. Don't buy a cheap one just because it was however much it was. Don't buy it because it's affordable. Buy it because you've done your research on the specs. And it's, besides knowing the specs of something, it's always best to buy something out of experience, right? And throughout my years of production, I've understood that there are two brands that work very well with the work that I do. Number one is Dell. They are a bitch when it comes to their battery life, especially when it starts getting old. Dell and Lenovo work very well for production, in my experience. Some people prefer MacBooks, some people prefer whatever they do prefer, but for me, Dell, Lenovo, because they can sustain through a lot of things, and especially when you get it fresh, the battery life is very good, which you do need. You need to have a laptop that is good with battery life, otherwise it's just gonna be dying on you. So I got a Dell, I don't know what model it is, but this is an i5 8 gig RAM and 250 gigs worth of space. I only use this for production and video editing. I don't use it for watching movies, storing anything, none of that. And that's one tip that I can give you guys out there. Sometimes you want to use one laptop for 20,000 things, and your laptop starts crashing out on you, and you wonder like, what's going on? Stop overutilizing your equipment. Let me just say that. Stop overutilizing your equipment for things that it's not supposed to be doing, and just use it for the things that it's supposed to be doing. When you are working, it will work smoothly. Third tip will be, I'm sure you guys see my keyboard over here, not this one, but this one. I just got this because it kind of makes my workflow easy with all the equipment that I do have. But if you're just starting out, you don't really need all of it. Some of it is just really just for efficiency and also a flex. As a producer, you need to be mobile. You can't just be in one place at all times. People are going to be calling you left, right, and center. And if you have equipment that doesn't allow you to be mobile, you'll be stagnant because people won't always come to you. You're going to have to come to some opportunities with your own equipment, right? So when you are buying equipment, make sure that it is very mobile, it is easily packable and packageable. All of this can fit in the boot. Like my PC, all the little stuff can fit into this suitcase, including my speakers. The stand cannot fit in the suitcase, neither can this. So I keep it in the box, but everything else that you see here, plus the cables, literally fit in that suitcase over there, right? So that's something that you have to be aware of. If you have as much as I do, get you a suitcase. I used to carry my speakers in the box that they came in, and they used to make me look so dumb. Looking back now, like they used to make me look so dumb. But it's all levels to this thing. But as you're buying equipment, also buy things that you can store the equipment, and make sure that your equipment is just safe. It's one thing buying expensive equipment and then you put it in the wrong place, something is broken, something falls on it, and then you have to buy another thing again just because you didn't have a place to put your equipment in. You understand what I'm saying? So this mic stand actually came with a microphone. I'm going to show you the microphone in a bit. Besides this, what else? Obviously cables, which I will not get into because when you're buying stuff, it's going to need cables. My cable game is always crazy, as you guys can see, right? It's always cute in front until you come at the back. But this I love these headphones. So this is my mic right here. And also, let's not cheap out. On the topic of cheaping out, do not cheap out on a microphone and on good headphones. Before I got these studio headphones, I used to use these gaming headphones. If you can't afford the studio headphones that you want, I highly recommend that you buy gaming headsets, because they have just the same amount of quality and sound and bass, treble, mixing, balancing, all of that. But I love these. When I'm not using these, I record on these and then I do the mastering on this because the sound is stupid on here. The sound is just unbelievable on gaming headsets. I can never throw these things away. So the mic that I use is an Audio-Technica 20M2050, right? I think it came out, last time I checked, it came out about 8 years ago. An old fossil, but it carries heavy. Like the sound on this thing is unbelievable. It picks up bass, it kills noise. Like you can't hear background noises. I've recorded outside with this mic and there was no wind, no background noise, no nothing. And the cool thing about this microphone is it has 3 levels, right? So this, I keep it on the middle. So this middle basically means that you can, when you're recording, when you put it on this level, it's only recording from the middle of the mic, right? It's only receiving sound from the middle of the mic. And if you put it on the left side, that means it's getting sound from the back side. And then you see these 2 rings here. So that's the cool part about this mic. When you have it on that side, it means it can record both from the front and the back, and also at the top of the microphone. So if you're singing and somebody's doing background vocals, or you want to have a choir singing, this is the mic to get. besides this, because I really got this as a bargain, I won't lie. I was very lucky to get this mic because mine just died. But the mic that I would advise you to get, I can't really advise you. It really depends on your mixing capabilities and what you prefer. But make sure that you have a good mic. You can use a USB mic, a condenser mic. It's all up to you. What I used to use before this for about 3 to 5, basically 4 to 5 years was a Dixon UD20 mic. That was the mic that I used to use. Dixon has very good mics. If you cannot afford a high-end mic like this or a Focusrite, you can get a good mic at Cash Crusaders, Cash Converters, anywhere, Marketplace, anywhere, really. Get yourself, if you can't get this, get a Dixon mic. And if you don't want that, get your Focusrite bundle that comes with the mic, the interface, and sometimes it comes with headphones. Sometimes it comes with headphones. That's only if you're lucky, right? I think, yeah, that's basically it. As for how much I've spent for all this, I don't know. I don't remember. You know, it was just a case of I want it, so I'm gonna do what I need to get it, and I got it. That's the other thing as well. Most producers or most people think about how much the stuff costs, but they neglect the fact, or they don't even consider the fact of how much the stuff makes. You know, something that costs you maybe 5,000, but it can make you 15,000, or it can make you 20,000. So the 5,000 that you have now really has no value unless you put it into something that actually has value of making more than what you currently have. You need to have that kind of mindset if you're going to be a producer, if you're going to be somebody that's in business. You have to look at every opportunity and everything like that. If I spend this, how much is it going to make? You know, if I spend this now, is it just going in the air, or is it going to make me something back? I would highly advise to spend or invest into things that bring the money back. With that being said, let me just finish up setting up, and then we're gonna cook. Probably gonna cook up something. I don't know. But let's get to it, man. Okay, so I'm all set. I'm all set. I really want to make a new beat, I won't lie, but I have some projects that I need to finish. This is one song with Danger Man that I've been holding since last year. So I'm gonna finish that first, and then at least make 2 beats for the day. I haven't made a beat in probably a week or so. So I'm trying to challenge myself to make at least 2 beats a week. You know, my lifestyle does get crazy. I have a lot of things that I'm doing, like editing videos. There's just a lot, but I really want to keep my consistency up. And I'm sure with me being consistent, there's obviously somebody out there that's watching that's going to be inspired to be more consistent in what they're doing. So, you know, pray for me. But let's get to it, man. Let's get to it.